So today I'm going to be doing an unboxing and review of the new UMIDIGI G9 5G. Now, UMIDIGI were kind enough to sponsor me for this video, provided the phone, blah, 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 blah. But all of the opinions I give about this phone are going to be my own as per usual. So let's get into it. Okay, so here is the UMIDIGI G9, 128 gigs of storage, 6 gigs plus 6 gigs of extended RAM, 12 gigabytes. Specs again there, and I've got it in space black. So unfortunately they did send me black, which is a bit unfortunate considering if you've watched my videos before, you'll know that I buy these phones in greens and blues, etc. So on top you've got the phone, pre-clad by the looks of it in a clear case, which is quite cool. I'll just set that aside for a second. And then underneath that, you've just got a bit of paperwork, your charging brick, USB-C charging brick, which is nice. And that is 20 watt maximum output. It does support 18 watt charging. And you get a cool bright red USB, hello doggo, and then a SIM pin as well. So that's all that's inside the box. Let's just ditch that. And here is the UMIDIGI G9 5G. Let's just take it out of the case for a second. To be fair, that's not bad. Nice sort of sparkly sort of design there and a more glossy finish around that camera housing. And then on the side, you've got your volume rockers, power button with integrated fingerprint scanner. On the left, you've got another button, which I think that's like a dedicated button that you can set to something, which I'll have a look at in a second. And then you've got your SIM tray, which can have a micro SD card as well. There is a built-in screen protector, which is nice. So let's just power on. So UMIDIGI have been around for quite a number of years, but I've never really looked into any of their phones. But I am sort of curious to know what this phone's like. So I'll just quickly set the phone up and then we'll go through the UI and the hardware of the phone. Okay, so I've just set up the UMIDIGI G9 5G, and right off the bat you can see, as you'd expect from a budget device, off-axis viewing angles aren't the best, but of course looking at the phone head on, it's absolutely fine. Now you get a large 6.75 inch 720p display with a 90 Hz refresh rate. Obviously you get a pretty chunky bezel down the bottom, slim-ish bezels around the rest of the device, and then of course you get your selfie camera, which has an 8 megapixel camera. And then again onto the back you get a 50 megapixel primary camera, and then just two 2 megapixel macro and depth cameras, and then an LED flash. I will chuck up a few photos towards the end of this video from the G9 5G, just so you can see what they're like. There's no apps drawer out of the box, so as we go through the settings, I'll see if I can add that in. But of course, you've got the usual, it's like a stock Android settings menu, which is quite nice. And then you can of course just jump into your usual settings. So you've got your internet, Wi-Fi settings and hotspot. Bluetooth settings, so of course you can pair new devices, wallpaper and screen style, and then jumping into the wallpapers, on device papers, all the same color apparently. And then if you just agree to those bits, oh again, all the same. And then if you have some photos in your gallery, obviously you've got the option there. Obviously I haven't at the moment. And then of course there are a few theme options as well, should you want to change that. So if I just change it to that one, it'll take a second and it will just change up the whole look of the display. And then you've got show notifications on lock screen, and then more lock screen options here. And you've just got a few extra bits. Lift to check phone, I will always have that on. Wake screen for notifications. And then you can swap between changing the wallpaper for your home screen and your lock screen, so you can have them different. And then you've got a few color styles that you can change as well. which I won't be doing at the moment. And then onto your display settings, adaptive brightness, and then you've got a few, screen timeout time. You can set up dark mode, which I won't for the purposes of this video. And then you can change the size of the font and the size of the display if you want it to be a little bit smaller or a little bit bigger. If you've not got the best eyesight or anything like that, you can change it up nicely. Oh, and you can change the text to bold if you like, and high contrast text as well. Night light, of course, is just the turning off the blue light, so it's a bit easier on the eyes. And of course, you've got the usual bit you can schedule when you want that. I normally just do it from sunrise to sunset. Easy enough then. And then you've got display video enhancement options, where you can improve the video display quality and the colors. And then you've got a few apps that it supports there, of course YouTube being one of them, and the photos and video editing app. I'll turn that off just for a second. And then you've got an SDR to HDR video enhancement option, which you can turn on, which will convert the appearance of the video from SDR to HDR, just to make it a little bit better. Luminous eye protection, auto rotate screen will turn on, and then you can adapt the refresh rate. It's on auto at the moment, but of course you can go from 60 Hz to save power, or to 90 Hz all the time. Of course, auto will automatically switch between the two to give you the best performance. And then of course you've got your backlight power saving, and then you can set a screensaver as well, which I'm not going to do for the time being. And then you've got your usual sound and vibration options, which isn't anything that exciting. You've got SIM 1 and you've got SIM 2. So you've got a couple of SIM trays that you can change if you've got two SIM cards, one for personal, one for work, etc. Vibration and haptics. Touch feedback I generally tend to turn off, because these vibration motors in these budget phones aren't the best. I don't really want it going off every time I'm tapping the display. And then of course you've got notification options for individual apps. Notification history. I suppose I haven't had any notifications from anything else because I haven't really got anything else on here. And then a few other options there. Oh, no, just did that. And then you can jump into the individual settings for all of your apps. So let's just jump into camera for argument's sake. You can set permissions like camera, microphone, and photos and videos, etc. So there's just a quick look at the UI. I am going to quickly jump back and change that theme. There we go. I prefer that theme to the other one that was on there. So I have already installed Geekbench 6, and I did run some benchmarks on it. And just for comparison, I've also got the Blackview Color 8, which uses a Unisoc T616 processor, and this UMIDIGI G9 uses the Unisoc T765, which is a new processor, and as you can see, offers improved performance. Still not the best performance, of course, but it offers improved performance over its predecessor, and it should be absolutely fine for most people's daily use. And then if I just jump back into the settings quickly, and then go into System Android Update. So we're on Android 14 with a May security patch, so it's pretty up to date. What update support you're going to get on this phone ongoing, I'm not 100% sure, but yeah, it's not too bad out of the box. Now, as for the design of the phone, I actually quite like it. It seems very well built. There's no creaking around any of the edges or anything like that. You get your speaker grille, USB-C charging port, which supports 18-watt charging on the bottom, and your microphone. You get your SIM tray and this other button, which I'm not 100% sure what that is. And then you get a 3.5mm headphone jack on the top, another microphone, and then a power button underneath with integrated fingerprint scanner, and then your volume buttons. So let's just set up that fingerprint scanner actually and just see what it's like to set up. Fingerprint So most of these fingerprint scanners are pretty good. They're normally nice and responsive. Just got to make sure you get all parts of your fingerprint registered to improve its accuracy. So we're all done. Just do the one for the time being. So yeah, it's not too bad. Of course, it's not going to be the fastest, but it is absolutely fine. And then lastly, if I just quickly jump into the camera, just so we can have a look and see what the camera offers. So then of course you get your standard capture mode, you get a video mode, you get a 50 megapixel option, panorama mode, and then you get portrait, night mode, and then a few options here: pro, time-lapse, slow motion, QR code, and macro. So if we just shoot just a quick picture of the box. Doesn't look too bad. Of course, like I said, I will add a selection of photos at the end of this video. And then you've got a 2x and a 3x crop option on the display. And then jumping into settings, you've got a few options there. And then into video. The video tops out. Oh, you got 4K video at 30 FPS. That's nice. But it's set at FHD at 30 FPS as the standard. That's pretty cool. And then if I just flip round to the 8 megapixel selfie camera, race 41? Mate, I ain't 41. I mean, I'm not far off, but I'm not 41. Cheeky buggers. Super fine picture quality, which will just take up a little bit more space. And then selfie video, 1080p, which it maxes out, which is not really surprising. So that's just a very quick look at the UMIDIGI G9 5G. I mean, overall, I think it's worked really well. It seems nice and smooth. Apps open pretty quickly. You do get a large 5000 mAh battery inside, which paired with that 6nm T765 processor should give you all day battery life, no problem. Of course, 18-watt charging isn't the fastest, but plug it in overnight, you'll be absolutely fine. So let me know down in the...
They tell me that I'm never gonna make it. They want me to do something that could make sense. They hate when I keep dreaming I'll be famous, but I don't give a fuck, I'ma keep chasing. I got all this potential that's deep inside of me, but they hate when you're successful cause they try to be. They sit there being judgmental because you're trying things, and they just want you to settle and do the right thing. So get a good job, don't slack off. Wake up every morning, make a good impression on your boss. Don't do anything that I wouldn't do, and when you're making money, make sure you don't spend it too soon. Fuck that, I'll do what I wanna do. I got a different path from everyone, and that includes you. Who are you to tell me how to live life? In these times it feels like nobody is right, yeah. So I'ma figure out what else we succeed, and then invest all of my time into that and proceed.